Ladies and gentlemen, in this world we live in constant comparison, comparing our lives, our successes, our failures, our looks, and even our worth to others. But let me ask you, have you ever stopped to think about how truly unique you are? Have you considered that no one else in this world shares the same journey, the same perspective, or the same story as you do? Each one of us is born with our own set of strengths, struggles, and experiences. The path you're walking is yours alone, and that path may look completely different from someone else's. But that's the beauty of it. You are allowed to have your own pace, your own rhythm. There is no universal timeline for success, happiness, or achievement. What you might see as a setback today is just a chapter in the story you're writing for yourself. We live in a world that often pressures us to be like others, to match their achievements, their looks, or their lifestyle. But I want you to understand this. Success is personal. It isn't defined by what others have accomplished, but by the fulfillment and purpose you find in your own life. If you continue measuring your worth based on someone else's success, you'll always feel incomplete. But here's the truth. Comparison steals joy. It steals your peace. When you're constantly looking at what others have and wishing for the same, you miss out on celebrating what you've already achieved, what makes you special. No one else can walk your path, feel your heart, or carry your dreams. I urge you to stop looking to others for validation and start finding it within yourself. Embrace your flaws. Your imperfections are part of your strength, not your weakness. Love yourself for who you are right now, not for who you think you should be. When you start accepting and loving yourself fully, that's when you'll truly begin to shine. In this fast-paced, interconnected world, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. Social media, advertising, and even our daily interactions often highlight how different we are from one another, and in doing so, they can inadvertently create a sense of inadequacy. We start measuring ourselves against others, whether it's their achievements, their appearance, or their lifestyle. And in that process, we lose sight of one of the most important truths about ourselves. We are each uniquely gifted and capable in our own right. Each individual on this planet is born with a distinct set of qualities, talents, and perspectives. These qualities shape who we are, how we think, how we interact with the world, and how we approach challenges. Your mind processes information differently from someone else's. The way you see the world, the way you experience emotions, and the way you handle adversity are all uniquely yours. This individuality is not something to be compared to others, but something to be celebrated. When we compare ourselves to others, we often end up focusing on what we don't have or what we're not good at. We see someone else's success, their accomplishments, their confidence, and we feel like we fall short. But what we fail to realize is that the very things we perceive as lacking in ourselves may be the things that make us stand out in ways we haven't yet recognized. There is no formula for success, no single way to be happy, no one-size-fits-all path to fulfillment. The beauty of individuality lies in the fact that there is no blueprint for how to live a meaningful life. The most successful and influential people in the world didn't get there by trying to fit into someone else's mold. They carved their own path, embraced their unique strengths, and worked with what they had. They didn't waste time comparing themselves to others because they understood that their potential was tied to who they were, not who someone else was. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you are dismissing your own power. You're ignoring the very things that set you apart from everyone else. Your potential is not confined to someone else's version of success. It's deeply rooted in your own unique qualities and talents. Comparing yourself to others also holds you back from fully embracing who you are. It leads you to believe that the only way to succeed is by mimicking someone else's success, when, in fact, your journey is meant to be different. It's easy to become discouraged when you look around and see someone who seems to have it all together, someone who's excelling in ways that you wish you could, but you don't know their struggles, their sacrifices, or their journey. You only see the outcome. And by only focusing on that, you miss the deeper, more profound reality that their journey is just as unique as yours. Moreover, comparing yourself to others often forces you to overlook the very qualities that make you extraordinary. Maybe you have an artistic vision that no one else around you shares. Or perhaps you're a natural problem solver who sees things others don't. Maybe your strength lies in connecting with others in a way that is deeply meaningful, or in creating something from nothing. These qualities are what make you, you. They can't be replicated or replaced by someone else's talents. When you compare yourself to others, you don't celebrate your individuality, you diminish it. You tell yourself that who you are is not enough, that you need to be more like someone else to be valuable or worthy. But the truth is, the world needs you exactly as you are. Celebrating individuality is not about creating a divide or turning away from others. It's about recognizing that we all bring something different to the table. We don't need to be clones of one another to make a difference. The value of a diverse world lies in the richness of our differences. Just as no two people have the same fingerprints, no two people experience the world in the same way. Our varying perspectives make life more vibrant and interesting. When we embrace and celebrate these differences, we open ourselves up to opportunities for growth, collaboration, and innovation. When we understand the power of individuality, we stop competing with each other and start supporting each other's unique gifts. What makes you stand out is not the fact that you are better or worse than someone else. It's the fact that you bring a fresh perspective, a unique energy, and a personal touch to everything you do. You are the only person who can be you, and that is your superpower. The qualities that may seem small or insignificant to you, your kindness, your creativity, your resilience, are the things that make you irreplaceable. The world doesn't need more copies of someone else. It needs more people who are willing to show up as their authentic selves, who aren't afraid to embrace their individuality, and who are ready to use their uniqueness to make a difference. In a world that often tries to make us feel like we need to fit into certain boxes, it's vital to remember that there is no one way to succeed. Your success isn't defined by how closely you resemble someone else's path. It's about finding the courage to walk your own, even if it looks different, even if it feels uncertain. It's about owning who you are, accepting your flaws, and nurturing the gifts that only you possess. When you learn to celebrate your individuality, you free yourself from the confines of comparison. You begin to trust in your journey, knowing that it's yours to take. You stop chasing someone else's dream and start building your own. And in doing so, you unlock your full potential. Because when you are truly yourself, that's when you become unstoppable. Everyone's journey is different. In a world filled with endless noise, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the idea that there's a universal blueprint for success, happiness, and fulfillment. We are constantly surrounded by stories of others achieving great things, overcoming challenges, and seemingly having it all figured out. But what we often fail to realize is that each of us is on our own distinct path, with our own set of challenges, opportunities, and milestones. The struggles we face, the setbacks we endure, and the triumphs we experience, these are not random occurrences. They are part of what makes our journey unique and valuable. We often measure our progress based on where others are in their lives, and in doing so, we can lose sight of the fact that we are all walking different paths. What works for one person may not work for you, and that's okay. The timeline of someone else's journey is not a reflection of your potential or your worth. Your timeline is yours alone, shaped by your experiences, your choices, and the lessons you learn along the way. When we start comparing ourselves to others, we forget that our struggles are not setbacks. It's easy to look at someone else's success and think that we should be further along, but what if where we are right now is exactly where we need to be? What if every moment of difficulty, every moment of doubt is part of the preparation for something greater? The struggles you face in your journey are not signs of failure. They are the challenges that build strength, resilience, and wisdom. Life is not a straight line. It's full of twists, turns, and unexpected detours. The path may seem uncertain, and sometimes it might even feel like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but that's part of the process. It's through the struggles that we gain clarity, develop character, and discover what truly matters to us. Your experiences, no matter how difficult, are what will ultimately define your success. It's not the absence of challenges that makes a story worth telling. It's how you respond to those challenges that shapes the narrative. Consider this. We often hear stories of people who went through difficult times and emerged stronger on the other side. These stories are compelling not because the people overcame adversity, but because they learned and grew through it. The adversity became a defining part of their journey, shaping who they were and how they approached the world. It's easy to think of success as a destination, a place where everything falls into place, where the struggles are behind you. But in reality, success is not a destination at all. It's a process, a series of moments, decisions, and challenges that come together to form the story of your life. Your journey is not something to be rushed or forced into someone else's timeline. It's not about meeting arbitrary milestones or reaching a certain point by a specific age. It's about the path you take and the lessons you learn along the way. If you're constantly trying to catch up with others, you miss the opportunity to fully experience and appreciate your own journey. It's the moments of quiet reflection, the times of introspection, and the little victories along the way that make your journey meaningful. Success is not just about where you end up. It's about the person you become along the way. The path you're walking is yours to create. It's not about fitting into someone else's mold or following someone else's footsteps. It's about discovering your own direction and learning to trust that the right opportunities will come at the right time. Your journey is filled with moments of growth, of learning from mistakes, and of gaining insights that only you can understand. While others may take different routes, you are building a story that is uniquely yours. A story filled with experiences that will shape your future in ways you can't yet predict. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't seem to be moving as quickly as we want them to. We see others achieving their dreams, making progress, and reaching their goals, and we wonder why we're not there yet. But what if the reason you're not there yet is because you're not meant to be? What if the struggles and delays are part of the preparation for something greater? Sometimes the greatest opportunities come from the hardest moments. It's in the times when you feel like giving up that you often learn the most about yourself. Those moments of struggle are the building blocks of resilience, determination, and inner strength. We are often so focused on the destination that we forget to enjoy the journey itself. The process of becoming who we are meant to be is just as important as the end result. If we rush through life constantly comparing our journey to others, we miss out on the lessons, the growth, and the experiences that make our story worth telling. The truth is, no one else can walk your path for you. You are the author of your own story, and it's up to you to decide how it unfolds. Each choice you make, each challenge you overcome, and each step you take is part of the unique tapestry that forms your life. Your journey is something to be cherished. Every setback, every detour, and every challenge is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Don't let the pace of someone else's journey make you feel like you're falling behind. Don't let the highlight reels of other people's lives make you question your own. Your story is unfolding exactly as it should. And the struggles you face are not obstacles. They are opportunities for growth, self-discovery, and transformation. Embrace your journey, trust the process, and know that where you are right now is exactly where you need to be. Self-love and acceptance are foundational to living a fulfilling and authentic life. In a world that constantly bombards us with images of what we should be or should look like, it's easy to get lost in the comparison game. We see the curated versions of people's lives on social media, we hear the praise for their achievements, and we begin to wonder why we don't measure up. But what if I told you that the key to true confidence isn't found in changing who you are to fit someone else's standards? What if it's found in fully embracing who you already are, flaws and all? Embracing yourself, every part of you, is a radical act of self-empowerment. It's acknowledging that you are worthy of love, respect, and kindness, even when you make mistakes, even when you stumble, and even when things don't go as planned. The truth is that no one is perfect, and perfection is an illusion that keeps us trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and dissatisfaction. We are all human, we all have imperfections, flaws, and struggles, but that doesn't make us any less deserving of love, success, or happiness. In fact, it is these very imperfections that make us human, relatable, and real. True confidence comes not from fitting into a mold or meeting external standards of beauty, success, or perfection. It comes from fully accepting yourself, recognizing that your worth is not determined by your achievements, your appearance, or your ability to meet the expectations of others. When you learn to accept and love yourself, you stop measuring your worth based on comparisons. You begin to see yourself as enough just as you are right now. Self-love means embracing both the light and dark parts of yourself. It means accepting that you have strengths and weaknesses and that both are valuable. Too often, we are taught to focus on our flaws and shortcomings, to constantly strive for improvement, and to think that we're not good enough until we've fixed ourselves. But self-love teaches us that we are already whole. We don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love or success. We don't need to change ourselves to meet some ideal standard. Instead, we can love ourselves for who we are in all our complexity and imperfection. Self-acceptance is about releasing the need for external validation. It's about understanding that your worth isn't dependent on how others perceive you, but rather on how you perceive yourself. We live in a world that often looks outward for approval, whether it's likes on social media, praise from others, or validation from external sources. But the truth is that no one's opinion of you is more important than your own. When you learn to love and accept yourself, you no longer need validation from others to feel good about who you are. You begin to trust your own judgment, value your own voice, and honor your own experiences. You realize that your self-worth doesn't come from what others think of you. It comes from the way you treat yourself, the kindness you show yourself, and the respect you give yourself. The journey of self-love is not always easy, especially in a world that often tells us we're not enough. It requires unlearning the messages we've been taught about our bodies, our abilities, and our worth. It requires letting go of the pressure to conform to societal standards, to fit into someone else's idea of beauty or success. It requires forgiveness, forgiving yourself for past mistakes, forgiving yourself for the times when you didn't measure up, and forgiving yourself for not always being perfect. Self-love is a practice, a choice we make every day to show up for ourselves with kindness, compassion, and acceptance. One of the most important aspects of self-love is learning to be kind to yourself, especially in moments of failure. We all make mistakes. We all experience setbacks, disappointments, and times when things don't go as planned. But when you love yourself, you don't let those mistakes define you. You recognize that failure is a part of growth. It's not something to be ashamed of, but something to learn from. Self-love means not berating yourself for being imperfect. It means acknowledging your mistakes, learning from them, and moving forward without carrying guilt or shame. When you accept that you are not perfect, you free yourself from the pressure of being flawless, and in doing so, you open up space for real growth, learning, and progress. True confidence doesn't come from the outside. It's not about the way you look or the accolades you receive. It's about the inner belief that you are enough just as you are. Confidence is the quiet assurance that even in your moments of doubt or vulnerability, you are worthy of love and success. When you accept yourself fully, you stop seeking approval from others. You stop worrying about whether or not you measure up to someone else's standards. You start living your life on your own terms, guided by your own values and desires. This is the kind of confidence that lasts because it is rooted in authenticity, self-respect, and self-acceptance. Embracing who you are, flaws and all, is a powerful act. It's an act of defiance against the messages that tell us we're not good enough. It's a declaration that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness, no matter what. When you accept yourself, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. You stop hiding behind masks, pretending to be someone you're not, and start living in alignment with your true self. You allow yourself to shine in your own unique way without the fear of judgment or rejection. So remember this, true confidence is not about perfection. It's not about meeting some external standard. It's about loving yourself for who you are, in all your complexity, imperfection, and uniqueness. When you accept yourself fully, you unlock a power that no one can take away. You become unstoppable. You become free. Success is a deeply personal and individual experience. Yet in a world where we are constantly surrounded by images of achievement, whether on social media, in the media, or through the people around us, it's easy to start measuring our own progress against the standards and accomplishments of others. But success is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's a fluid, evolving idea that should be defined by you, not by the benchmarks or milestones that someone else has set. What matters most is how you define success for yourself and the journey you take to get there. The first thing to understand about success is that it doesn't look the same for everyone. What success means to one person might have no meaning for another. For some, success may be reaching a certain level of financial stability, while for others it might mean pursuing a passion or living in alignment with their values. Success might be about building a family, achieving personal growth, or leaving a meaningful impact on the world. There is no universal definition that fits all. And that's what makes success such a personal and dynamic experience. When we start comparing our journey to someone else's, we lose sight of the fact that our paths are entirely different. We often look at someone who has achieved what we think is success and wonder why we haven't reached that same point. Maybe they're further along in their career, have the family we dream of, or seem to have everything in place. But the truth is that we are all on unique timelines, facing different challenges and working with different resources. Their journey isn't yours, and your journey isn't theirs. Comparing yourself to someone else's achievements only distracts you from your own progress and purpose. Success is also not about achieving a set of external markers, like getting a high-paying job, winning awards, or accumulating wealth. These things may be a byproduct of success for some, but they don't define it. True success is about fulfilling your own vision, reaching your own personal goals, and living a life that aligns with your values and desires. Success is not defined by societal expectations or the approval of others. It's about finding what brings you joy, satisfaction, and peace, and pursuing it relentlessly. It's about carving out a path that feels authentic and true to who you are, even if that path looks different from what others might expect or understand. When we make the mistake of defining success by someone else's standards, we often set ourselves up for frustration and disappointment. No one knows what success should look like for you better than you do. If you are constantly measuring your progress by what someone else has achieved or by what society tells you is successful, you are neglecting your own unique journey. It's important to recognize that everyone's path is different, and it's okay for yours to look different too. Just because someone else reaches a certain milestone doesn't mean that you need to do the same at the same time. Your progress is your own, and it deserves to be recognized for what it is, without comparison or judgment. Additionally, success is not always a linear process. Many times, our journeys are filled with setbacks, detours, and obstacles that we didn't expect or plan for. Yet these experiences are often the very things that shape us into stronger, more resilient individuals. The times when things don't go according to plan, when we feel lost or unsure, can be some of the most valuable learning experiences of our lives. They teach us lessons that we would never have learned otherwise, and they shape our understanding of what true success is. Sometimes the struggles we face along the way are more important than the destination itself, as they help us grow and refine our understanding of what really matters. What we must remember is that success is not a race. It's not about getting to the finish line faster or achieving what others have achieved in the same amount of time. It's about defining your own journey and living it at your own pace. Some people may achieve their goals quickly, while others may take longer. Neither is more or less valid. They are simply different paths. The beauty of life is that there is no fixed timetable for success. Your path is yours alone to create, and the pace at which you walk it is entirely up to you. Success is also about progress, not perfection. It's easy to look at someone who seems to have it all together and think that they've reached some ideal version of success. But behind every success story are countless hours of work, failure, growth, and self-doubt. No one is immune to struggle, and no one's path is free from challenge. Success doesn't mean never failing. It means learning from failures, picking yourself up, and continuing forward with resilience. Your success is not measured by how many times you fall, but by how many times you rise, how you handle setbacks, and how you remain committed to your goals. The essence of success lies in the journey itself, not just the destination. When you begin to understand that success is not about ticking off a list of achievements or matching someone else's timeline, you free yourself from the pressure to conform to someone else's idea of success. You allow yourself the freedom to define what success means to you, based on your values, passions, and dreams. Success is personal, and it's a journey that only you can walk. It's a path that's uniquely yours to shape, and every step along the way is a step towards becoming the person you're meant to be. It's time to stop measuring your progress by someone else's standards. Instead, start measuring it by your own growth, by the person you're becoming, and by the fulfillment you feel in your own life. Your success is not theirs to define, it's yours, and it's just as valuable, just as significant, and just as worthy of celebration. Take pride in your journey, trust in your timeline, and know that you are exactly where you need to be. Success, after all, is not a destination. It's the life you create for yourself along the way. Comparison is one of the most toxic habits we can cultivate, yet it's something we all fall prey to, often without even realizing it. It's easy to scroll through social media or look around us and measure our worth based on what we see others doing, achieving, or experiencing. We start to believe that if we don't match up to the people around us, we're somehow less than or not enough. But this constant comparison only robs us of one of the most precious things we can have in life, joy. It steals our happiness and creates a sense of insecurity that can follow us through every part of our journey. At its core, comparison is a thief. It doesn't enrich our lives or motivate us to be better. Instead, it fosters feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and envy. When we compare ourselves to others, we set ourselves up for disappointment. No matter how much we achieve, there will always be someone else who appears to be doing better, achieving more, or living a life that seems more exciting. And instead of celebrating our own unique accomplishments and progress, we're left feeling like we haven't done enough. This mindset only breeds unhappiness, as it prevents us from fully appreciating the journey we are on and the victories, big and small, that we have earned. What we often forget is that when we compare ourselves to others, we are comparing our raw, unedited reality to someone else's highlight reel. Social media has made this comparison even more pervasive. People curate their lives, choosing to share only the best moments, vacations, promotions, celebrations, and achievements, while leaving out the struggles, the failures, and the moments of vulnerability. But when we look at these glimpses of someone else's life, we don't see the full picture. We don't see the hard work, the sacrifices, or the hardships that may have accompanied those moments of success. We are only seeing what they choose to show us, and yet we allow it to make us feel inferior, as though we are falling behind. In reality, everyone's path is different, and everyone faces their own challenges and obstacles. The truth is, what we see in others isn't always the whole truth. We each have our own story, our own timeline, and our own set of struggles that others may never see. But when we focus on comparing ourselves to someone else's curated version of reality, we forget that our own story is just as valuable and meaningful, even if it doesn't look the same as theirs. Constantly measuring your worth against others only serves to overshadow the beauty of your own journey and make you feel disconnected from your true self. Comparison doesn't only take away joy, it also robs us of our self-confidence. The more we compare ourselves to others, the more we start to believe that we are somehow lacking or that we don't measure up. It creates a cycle of insecurity where we feel that our achievements are insignificant because they don't match up to what someone else has done. We question our abilities, our worth, and even our identity because we're constantly seeking validation from external sources instead of looking inward. But the truth is, your worth isn't determined by someone else's success. You are enough exactly as you are, and your journey is valid no matter how it compares to someone else's. When you stop comparing, you free yourself from the constant pressure of needing to measure up. You start to realize that your unique qualities, experiences, and contributions are what make you special. You begin to see that your achievements, no matter how big or small, are worthy of celebration and that your progress is meaningful, even if it doesn't look like someone else's. When we stop comparing, we also give ourselves the permission to be content with where we are in life. So often we're so focused on the future, on where we want to be, on what we want to achieve, that we forget to appreciate the present moment. Comparison constantly shifts our focus outward, making us fixate on what we don't have, what we haven't achieved, or what others seem to be doing better. But when we let go of that need for comparison, we can begin to find joy in the present. We can celebrate the steps we've taken, the growth we've experienced, and the lessons we've learned along the way. We can start to see that our journey is just as valuable as anyone else's, even if it doesn't follow the same path. It's also important to recognize that comparison often feeds into a false narrative of success. We tend to think that success looks a certain way, whether it's a certain job title, a specific amount of money, a certain type of relationship, or a particular lifestyle. But success is personal. What brings happiness to one person may not bring the same joy to someone else. When we compare ourselves to others, we forget that our happiness and success are defined by our own values, not by someone else's standards. The only way to truly find happiness is to stop looking around and start looking within. We have to ask ourselves what we want, what brings us fulfillment, and what makes us feel alive. Only then can we begin to experience the kind of joy that comparison can never give us. When you stop comparing, you also open yourself up to the possibility of collaboration and connection instead of competition and jealousy. Often, comparison breeds feelings of resentment or bitterness toward others, when in reality, we should be supporting each other. When we see someone else's success, instead of feeling threatened or inferior, we can celebrate it as a sign of what's possible. By focusing on our own path, we free ourselves from the burden of envy and start to embrace the idea that there is enough success, enough happiness, and enough love for everyone. When we stop comparing ourselves to others, we can cheer for their victories while still feeling confident in our own progress. The truth is that the more we compare ourselves to others, the less we appreciate our own unique journey. We forget to recognize our own growth, the obstacles we've overcome, and the progress we've made. But when we release the need to compare, we can begin to find peace in the present moment and joy in the life we're building for ourselves. We can accept who we are, where we are, and how far we've come. And in doing so, we reclaim our happiness and our sense of worth. Comparison may be natural, but it's also the thief of joy. It steals the very thing we seek to find, contentment with ourselves and our lives as they are. So, I challenge you today. Let go of comparison. Celebrate the person you are with all your ups and downs. You are enough, you are worthy, and you are not defined by anyone but yourself. Thank you.